Over the past year, we've seen a wide variety of cryptocurrencies get absolutely demolished, dropping anywhere from 30% to 50%, with a few key outliers doing exceptionally well, like XRP up 328%, SUI up 231%, XLM 158%, Virtual up over 2,000%, SPX over 10,000%, BGB 200%, while some other projects like SEI, Pith, Filecoin, Polygon down 50+%, leaving a lot of crypto investors confused on what's happening in the crypto market right now, because this is unlike any other bull run that we've ever seen, even confusing some of the OG crypto investors that have been here since the beginning, questioning if we are going to follow the typical path to alt season from Bitcoin to Ethereum to large cap altcoins to then micro cap altcoins. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why 99% of investors have got it all wrong and where we currently are in the market cycle right now, so you can better understand if now's a good time to buy, if now's a good time to sell, and what to actually focus on so you can separate yourself from the 90+% and actually make money in the crypto market, developing skills that pay the bills. For example, I'm in a few trades right now at the time of making this video, and you guys can see I'm up over $3,000 on this trade and over $350 on this trade. And by the end of this video, I'm going to come back and give you guys an update and show you exactly what you need to do to be able to trade the crypto market yourself, regardless of whether the markets go up, down, or sideways. You can profit if you know what to do. So if you're feeling bullish, comment 777. If you're feeling blessed, comment 777. If you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, you know what to do. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So we're kicking this video off with a $100 XRP giveaway to be entered in to win. All you need to do, follow us on X or Twitter at Bullrunners HQ and read the pinned post, and then simply like the post, retweet it, comment XRP on it, and we'll select one comment to announce on our daily video newsletter first. So the link for that will be in the description below. It'll take you to this page right here. Just click the button on the page, put in your best email address so you can subscribe to the list. And you'll also get instant access to our free book called Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire. Because the reality of the situation is you're not going to become a millionaire buying Bitcoin this bull run cycle. Unless you have $500,000 and Bitcoin does it 2x from here. Most people that are watching this video don't have $500,000 to just chuck at Bitcoin. And even if they did, there's smarter plays in the space with very specific altcoins. Here's a prediction from Tom Lee talking about what he expects Bitcoin to go to by the end of 2025.
95% of all Bitcoin's been mined, but 95% of the world doesn't own Bitcoin. So I just think that there's still a huge demand versus supply imbalance, meaning there's a lot more potential buyers of Bitcoin over the next 10 years. And so I think there's a lot of upside into year end.
Into your like 150 target?
Yeah, 150, maybe 200, even 250 this year.
What? 150 to 200 to even 250. And what's you don't have a terminal price on that, do you?
Well, it's, I think at a minimum it should have the same network value as gold. Mm-hmm. And if you look at above ground gold, it's probably 23 trillion. So that would be, 1.2 million for Bitcoin. But I think Bitcoin is more valuable than gold. So, gold, Bitcoin could be 2 million, 3 million long term. Even higher.
So if Bitcoin goes to $200,000 this cycle, that's a little under a 2x from here. And if all you have is $1,000, that's like turning $1,000 into max $2,000. Now, if Bitcoin goes over $200,000, let's say it goes to $300,000, you're turning $1,000 into $3,000. That's not something you can pass down to your kids. So this leads us to altcoin season and what most people have wrong about the industry, because phase one from previous cycles is Bitcoin moves first, liquidity flows into Bitcoin causing massive price surges, and Bitcoin leads the charge. We saw that during the first phase of this bull run cycle, while a lot of altcoins lagged behind. Bitcoin did exceptionally well. For example, if we look at Bitcoin's market cap dominance chart at the top of the screen, since November of 2022, Bitcoin rallied from 39% in the industry, and it's still in a bull market, forming higher highs and higher lows, absorbing liquidity from the rest of the industry, sitting at 64%. And for those of you that are new, what that means is the market cap of the whole industry is about $3.29 trillion. So if Bitcoin's dominance is roughly 63 or 64% of that, that means Bitcoin's market cap is over $2 trillion. Second up is Ethereum at 300 billion, and then so on and so forth down from there. And then there's a phase overlap where money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. Eventually, Ethereum goes back and forth with Bitcoin and then starts outperforming it for phase two. Now here's where the problem comes into effect, and the reason why 99% of people have been wrong about this bull run cycle thus far is we actually skipped phase 2 of the market cycle and we went right to phase 3 and phase 4, where regardless of market cap, some altcoins with strong fundamentals were having their pumps. For example, if we look at Ethereum over the past year, Ethereum is down 31%, and since the bear market low of about $1,200, Ethereum is up barely a 2x from there. Or a project like SUI that is further down the list over the past year is up 229%, and since SUI launched on May of 2023 is up over 3,000%, which is a 30x. Also, we see projects like Ondo since January of 2024 currently up over 300%, and even to the all-time high, that was over 900%. That's a 9x. So if you learn how to spot these projects before they explode, then you can compound your money a lot quicker. But you also have to be careful because a lot of new projects can completely flop and drop 99%. But the main reason why the majority of investors are wrong about this cycle is because they're relying on old models that worked back in 2021 or 2017 that aren't applicable today, because the last few bull run cycles were driven by retail fear of missing out and altcoin surges. But the 2025 landscape is very different. We have institutional adoption happening with companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, Van Eck, ARK, 21 Shares through Bitcoin ETFs. Corporate investments and regulatory shifts have brought in more institutional capital, causing a massive misjudgment from the majority of investors expecting a retail-driven euphoria, while institutions are dominating the market, leading to mistimed entries, over-leveraged bets, or chasing overhyped coins that underperform. So based on this model right here, theoretically, the path to alt season in the past has gone from Bitcoin to Ethereum to large cap to alt season. So from after phase 1 of Bitcoin, we're supposed to go to Ethereum, right? Well, if we look at the market cap dominance for Bitcoin, that hasn't happened yet. Ethereum has bled out compared to Bitcoin, while Bitcoin has absorbed the majority of the liquidity from the industry. So on the bottom of the screen, you can see since December of 2021, Ethereum has been underperforming while Bitcoin has been outperforming the rest of the industry. So how long will this last for before Ethereum experiences a bull run and we see that rotation from Bitcoin into Ethereum? Well, let's pair this up with the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator that I've showed you guys in previous videos, which basically measures the days until the next halving, puts a color code from bright red to dark purple, and has the stock to flow line that shows where Bitcoin has been at each phase in the cycle relative to the line. So for example, right now, we are well below the stock to flow model, which shows that the price is undervalued in comparison to the stock to flow at $348, almost $350,000. So Bitcoin has a lot of catching up to do. Whereas at this phase in the cycle, as you guys can see, we've transitioned from dark orange to yellow, and we're getting ready to transition to this pukish color green before going to light green. And so the last bull run cycle, where we were when that was happening, was roughly right around here for Bitcoin, when Bitcoin's price rallied up to $40,000 and then crashed down to about $29,000 and then experienced the rally to the all-time high at light green. Whereas the cycle before then, Bitcoin rallied up here to about $3,000, crashed down to 3,700, and then experienced this explosive run past the stock to flow line, which is at roughly 3,700, and went drastically above it to about $19,600. Whereas the cycle before then, we went even further above the stock to flow line by a multiple of 6.3x. So each cycle, Bitcoin's performance has actually done less and less above the stock to flow line. For example, this bull run cycle, it performed about a 5.2x above the stock to flow line at the peak in December of 2017, whereas the peak in 2021 was only 1.5x above the stock to flow line. And the reason for this is very simple, and that's saturation, because it takes more money for Bitcoin to grow, and it takes more liquidity for the market cap to grow than it did in previous cycles. Whereas back in 2012, Bitcoin was only $12, its market cap was much smaller than it is right now, whereas now the market cap for Bitcoin is over $2 trillion. And to the people that say market cap doesn't matter, yes, it does matter. Also, volume and liquidity matters. The amount of tokens out there matters. It all matters because it takes more volume, it takes more liquidity to grow the market cap. It's very simple, and because of saturation, there's over 16 million cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap alone. We've seen major dilution in the markets, and the reason why it's turned into a massive player versus player game with low market cap projects where you see them pump really quick, and then if you're not out of those projects within an hour or two, you get absolutely wrecked. So the rotation game of musical chairs in crypto is a lot more brutal this cycle, and it's a lot more difficult to make money. But there is still hope that this bull run is not over yet, because of what we've seen happen every single time where the bull market peak has come in, roughly 800 to 1,000 days until the next halving. So based on where we're at right now, we're not quite there just yet. But based on Bitcoin's fear and greed index, we are at 72 right now, closer to extreme greed. And as you guys can see on the chart, each time that we've experienced a massive rally like what we've experienced over the past 30 days for Bitcoin, it's not the best move. It's not the smartest move to buy into these types of rallies. It's best to buy the fear. For example, you guys can see from January of this year when Bitcoin dropped from like $106,000 all the way till April, over the course of 3 months, the fear and greed index dropped to 24. Same thing right here from March of 2024. The score was at 81. Bitcoin's price was at $72,000 and we dropped all the way down here to $53,000. The score dropped to 22. So it's very simple. If you buy when everyone is in extreme fear and you sell when everyone is in extreme greed, that's how you separate yourself from the majority. And as you can see during the last market cycle top, Bitcoin was upwards of $57,000 when the score was at 91. Even at the peak, we were at 75 in greed to extreme greed. So right now with the score at about 64, I would expect there to be some chop over the next 1 to 2 months. And if you guys didn't watch my video that I made yesterday, if you own XRP, SUI, or Ondo, or virtually any other of the large market cap projects, I explained where we are in this market cycle compared to the past for Bitcoin. And even though it's not the exact same as previous market cycles, there are some similarities that we can notice on key indicators like the relative strength index, the stochastic RSI. For example, when we zoom out on the weekly chart, we can see, also paired up with Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, the pi cycle top indicator, what's happened each time that the pi cycle top has come in and where we were on these three major indicators. Now, during the 2021 pi cycle top, it was very interesting because we actually topped out during yellow as a technical high, even though the true price high was right here on November of 2021. You can see where we were at on these key indicators. The price chart was making higher highs, whereas the stochastic RSI was experiencing a lower highs in a downtrend once we reached the pi cycle top. Also, the relative strength index, you guys can see, topped out all the way up here at 94 and was experiencing lower highs when Bitcoin's price was only at $41,000. So this was a massive bearish divergence. And a bearish divergence just simply means when we put in higher highs on the price chart and lower highs on key indicators like the stochastic RSI or the relative strength index, it signals that momentum is slowing down from the current trend, which is bullish momentum of higher lows and higher highs, to eventually bearish momentum for a major correction to take place. Also, this is why we watch the MACD, because at the bottom of the screen, you guys can see the histogram here. After the 15th of February didn't just continue higher with the price chart, it actually dropped, went sideways for a little bit, and then started to decline, which was a massive sign that momentum was slowing down because the MACD line in blue was getting closer and closer to the signal line in orange. And eventually we saw a cross right here on the 12th of April at the pi cycle top. And you can see the histogram at the bottom of the screen go below the zero line down here, along with the relative strength index dropping and the stochastic RSI below 20. Now the 2017 peak was a little bit different because you can see on the stochastic RSI, we weren't in a downtrend. We were actually forming higher highs. However, at this peak, we were above 80 and we experienced a bearish cross by the 18th of December, the week after the top. Also, the relative strength index was pretty choppy ever since June of 2017. It was bouncing between 54 upwards of 90 for several months until we reached the peak. At the peak, the RSI topped out at 89, so we didn't see a bearish divergence. But once we saw the cross on the stochastic RSI, the price peaked out. The relative strength index was upwards of 91. That was a good sign to get out of the markets because this uptrend wasn't going to last forever. And also on the MACD, we can see the histogram saw a massive momentum shift after the top came in. And then we inevitably saw a bearish cross on the 15th of January of 2018 when the price was right here at roughly $13,000 to $9,000 during this candle right here. So that also would have been a good time to get out of the market so you didn't have to go through this grueling, exhausting period during the bear market before we saw this massive capitulation and everyone was in the anger stage and they were really, really frustrated. They were really pissed off all the way down here at the bear market bottom when they could have got out when the relative strength index was above 80, the stochastic RSI was above 80, and the MACD was in a massive uptrend. Now, the cycle before then, there was actually 2 pi cycle top indicators that came in, and these were great times to take profits. Even the first one right here, you guys can see the relative strength index at the bottom of the screen was all the way up here at 99, at 100. We experienced a bearish cross on the stochastic RSI. And you can see the week after that, we put in a lower high on the histogram. We just continued down until this bearish cross by the 3rd of June of 2013. The RSI was in a downtrend. The stochastic RSI was in a downtrend as well too. and the price experienced a major pullback of over 60%. And for this high right here in December of 2013, well, we experienced a bearish cross the week before on the stochastic RSI. The relative strength index topped out at 96. And the histogram on the MACD started the downtrend from there. The bearish cross came in on the 3rd of February. Also a great time to get out of the market around $800 when we were still up near the high, because then Bitcoin pulled back after that peak over 86%. So where are we at right now? Well, if we look at Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, we transition from yellow to light green. The Pi cycle top indicator hasn't flashed yet, so there's most likely still some upside for Bitcoin towards the end of this year. However, looking at the stochastic RSI, we just experienced a bearish cross here above 80, but we haven't confirmed it until the stochastic RSI crosses below 80. Although we are in overbought conditions after this rally since the 7th of April, we've experienced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish candles in a row. On the weekly, the relative strength index is at 63. I also noticed that we are experiencing a macro bearish divergence ever since this high on the 4th of March of 2024, where we've been putting in higher highs on Bitcoin's price chart, but the relative strength index is putting in lower highs, so that's something to note. The MACD has been giving us some mixed signals because we've gone from, bearish cross, bullish cross, bearish cross, bullish cross, and we just experienced a lower high on the histogram. So I wouldn't consider the MACD as a conclusive signal of what's going to happen next, because we could see the MACD line in blue turn back below the signal line for another bearish cross right here, or it could reject from it and almost come in contact with the signal line. So we just don't know for the MACD, but this major bearish divergence on the relative strength index in the price chart is telling us that momentum is actually slowing down from bullish momentum to eventually, even if we push higher for Bitcoin, for us to go into a massive correction. So most people are going to be wrong at the end of this bull run cycle, because they're going to say we're going into a super cycle and we're just going to continue up and we're not going to experience a bear market like we have in the past. But if you know how to play your cards correctly, you can actually make money shorting the market and longing the market. For example, here's some trades from today. This one right here, I sold this coin right here, made about $29,000. Another sell on Bitcoin, I only made $38, but that was because I moved my stop loss into profit after the trade had gone the direction that I wanted. So it was a risk-free trade. And this one could have made, $15,000 or $20,000, but sometimes that's what happens. It gets stopped out. Whereas this trade right here was a buy for Bitcoin and it made about $1,600. And if you guys want to use this exchange, we'll leave a link in the description below where you can trade crypto globally. You actually get a 10% deposit bonus up to 50K if you go through our affiliate link. And on top of that, you'll see the link to join Altcoin Pro University as well. It'll take you to this page right here. As soon as you get started, you click Classroom, scroll down here to where it says Technical Analysis Essentials, and then unlock it with your free credit. And then go through all of these videos right here so you can have a solid foundation before you start trading the markets, because it's important to have a TradingView account, know how to customize your charts, add cryptos to your watch list. Because when Bitcoin's dominance experiences that drop, well, liquidity is going to flow into altcoins. Now, if it flows into Ethereum, that would be awesome. But I think in terms of risk to reward ratio, there are better plays than Ethereum, because if Ethereum starts to do well, then other projects on Ethereum's blockchain and other blockchains will do even better. Like I think SUI is going to outperform Ethereum, because SUI's market cap is only 11 billion. Ethereum's market cap is 300 billion. I even think XRP is going to outperform Ethereum. I think Solana is going to outperform Ethereum. Even Dogecoin is going to outperform Ethereum. Cardano, Hype, XLM, HBAR, BitTensor Tau, Near Protocol, Ondo, and some other key projects further down the list are going to experience the largest flow of capital. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you to sell any of these. I'm just giving you guys examples and my thoughts on the market for what I can see based on these key indicators, because you can just go on the chart right here and you can see for yourself what has happened just on the stochastic RSI alone when we've been close to 100 and we've experienced a bearish cross. Well, we've been at the local high or pretty much near it for Bitcoin each time that we've seen a major correction. So I think there's going to be a pullback for Bitcoin in the short term, allowing the stochastic RSI to come down a little bit further. We are at a descending resistance in this bearish divergence on the relative strength index. We've also experienced a lower high on the MACD, on the histogram. And what would turn me from bearish for Bitcoin right now to bullish is if Bitcoin just goes into price discovery again. Otherwise, I think we're just going to range over the next 1 to 2 months, sweep out a lot of leverage traders before sending the markets higher. Very similar to what happened right here for Bitcoin before the all-time high, the last bull run cycle, and also very similar to what we experienced right here for Bitcoin from August of 2017 until September 2017 before sending the markets higher. So it's important to prepare yourself before that happens by developing the right skills. And also inside of Altcoin Pro University, you guys can get access to our ongoing announcements from our research team, market updates, top altcoin picks, DeFi yield picks, airdrop picks, and daily crypto news. That way you can make the most out of this bull run to separate yourself from the 90%, become a part of the 10%, and if you really refine your skills, a part of the 1% that makes the majority of the money. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called SUI, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.
Well, we go on, we go from the highest highs to the canyons fall. The great awakening's calling you.
My fellow Americans and time-traveling patriots, where we go one, we go all together. One nation, under God,